really believe that the elite didn't know that this great awakening was going to happen? For centuries, they've literally studied human consciousness, astrology, human behavior, how we respond to things, and cycles that the human race goes through. They knew the shift was coming, and they prepared for it. They gave us endless entertainment. There's all sorts of social media traps. It's just a pit of things that keep us asleep. But no matter how much they prepared, there's no stopping what's already written. And I've never been more excited to be awake and alive and a part of something so much bigger than each one of us individually.
Massive brain. We can now reprogram any human cell back to age 20. Heart cells, skin cells, brain cells, all reset to their biological prime. But the technology to do this has existed since 2012. In 2006, scientists discovered Yamanaka factors. They're proteins that can basically convert any normal cell into these stem cells are basically like magic healers. If you have torn muscle tissue, you can inject these stem cells into the area and they will turn into the youthful muscle cells that you need. So Yamanaka factors were an insane breakthrough because they allowed any human to turn any cell you already have into a magic Yamanaka factors weren't very good at this stem cell conversion. They could do it, but they just weren't reliable enough to make a product. They had designed a special AI model built specifically to create new proteins. Think of it like ChatGPT, but for protein engineering. So they took all the original Yamanaka research and gave it to this AI model. Their new version is 50 times more effective than the original. They tested it on 50-year-old cells, and it successfully started repairing 30% of the cells in just 7 days. And this isn't science fiction. This actually happened. And it sounds crazy, but in a few years, humans will be able to take a shot that literally reverses the age of their...
Take this ball here, pour a whole bunch of water on it, and watch none of the water fall off the bottom. It all sticks onto it. And while that's happening, and the water stays stuck. Not only that, you're at 1,000 miles an hour spinning this way, which also at 67,000 miles an hour, 67,000 miles an hour, while spinning 1,000, you're circling around the sun. And while that's happening, you're also chasing the sun through the Milky Way at 514,000 miles an hour. And every single night, the stars are exactly the same. Every single night. Every single night, the stars never change. Polaris is always exactly where it is.
This is not fake, and it's not good news. A deadly creature has been unleashed across the world's oceans. Even getting close to it could end your life. Scientists have just discovered a toxic giant organism, and it's not just in one place. It's being spotted in every major body of water. They rise to the surface massive, longer than half a football field. And here's the terrifying part. There's no limit to their growth. This creature isn't just one animal. It's made up of thousands of organisms working together, forming one deadly unit. Each piece armed with toxic stingers that can pierce flesh and kill within moments. Even if you don't touch it. Why? Because its venomous tentacles can fire at you, chase you, and wrap around you like a living net. Survivors describe the aftermath as unbearable. Swelling, breathing failure, and excruciating pain. Its name? The Portuguese man o' war. A living death trap of the ocean, drifting, waiting, and impossible to escape.
3i Atlas 60-second update if you're like most people and going, what the hell is happening? 1. It's producing methane. You know, I don't remember the last time a comet, a meteor, or an asteroid produced methane. 2. It's producing its own light source. And it's producing it from within. I don't remember the last time a comet, meteor, or asteroid did that. 3. It's speeding up and slowing down. It's changing course and then correcting its course. I don't remember when an asteroid, meteor, or comet ever did that either. It's also not producing what typically follows the tail of a comet, meteor, or asteroid. And in fact, it's actually producing that at times in front of it, which is leading scientists to believe that it has some form of exhaust that is helping it speed up or slow down. I don't remember when an asteroid, meteor, or comet has done that either. And lastly, the elements it's made of are not known on our periodic table, which doesn't confirm that it is or isn't a spaceship, asteroid, meteor, or comet, but it does have known elements that we here on Earth have no clue what it is. So those are just 60 seconds of updates on 3i Atlas, just in case you were still wondering, what the hell is this thing and when is it showing up?
Scientists were studying earthquakes, but then stumbled across something wild. It was just an ocean under our ocean. These scientists found an ocean under our ocean by accident. There's no way we could have known this before, right? The crazy part about this, though, is that the ocean they found is 3 times bigger than our oceans that we have here on the surface. No. Said that it's very likely that there's millions of species we're unaware of in this other ocean. They also believe they could be as large as dinosaur-sized species in that ocean, and that they may have already broken through into our oceans.
Well, it seems like today someone has finally made their way down the shafts that were found under the pyramids in Egypt. Clutch your pearls, girls, because now you're telling me that as of today, Dr. and archaeologist Rami, I'm not even going to try to say his last name because I don't want to be disrespectful to the Egyptian culture, is the first human being to make his way to the bottom of the shafts underneath the pyramid and has reported back what he found in the chamber at the bottom. And it is mind-blowing. Now, like always, take what you will, leave what you won't. I have purposely not talked about this topic yet because I like to have my facts backed. But as of today, allegedly, archaeologist Rami, I'm not going to try the name again, has made his way to the bottom, and what he found there was perfect blue, like water chambers, I guess is what I'm referring to them as, with the most beautiful blue color water that he's ever seen in his life, with preserved humanoid body-like creatures in the water, with, as he describes, the most crystal clear blue color in their eyes that he has ever seen. Because I've now read 10 different reports and seen multiple videos all over social media, all over the different forums, and they're all claiming the exact same thing. So tell me, have you heard this? Because this is going to shake up history and the truth of our world like nothing else. So let's have this conversation today, because I want to know if
the reason
more people
why
know
you should
about
never get out of the house if you're in bed late night. This woman heard strange sounds coming from outside and decided to come out to see what was happening. To her surprise, there was actually a strange man hiding on her porch that spooked the woman back inside the house. Would you have done the same thing?
Do yourself a favor and master the art of exit. Only when necessary, so that you do not continue to run back to the trauma home that you came out of. Not every conversation deserves your breath, your time, or your energy, and not every silence is meant for you to break. When the frequency fades, don't chase the static. Change the station. Listen, when someone starts mishandling your worth, don't hand them more time hoping that they will figure it out. You're not a puzzle to be solved. You're a mirror. Either they will reflect respect, or they will distort it. And when the distortion becomes the norm, walk. Not in anger, not in spite, but in power.
all of you have seen the video now of the alien that was captured on the Ring camera in California. Now, if you haven't seen this video, it's the clearest video we've gotten so far of an extraterrestrial just wandering around on Earth. Now, this video has actually gotten so much traction that it's made it to mainstream news. Now, sometimes I don't believe the things mainstream news puts out there because, come on, it's mainstream news. They're meant to deceive you and point you in the direction that your government wants you to go in. But this video is quite amazing. Now, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to show it to you. But a Ring camera, a lady in California caught this on her Ring camera at 1 a.m. You can listen to the interaction back and forth with her and her child. I'm going to show you the video, but tell me what you think of this, because this is pretty cool.
I'm literally going crazy, like I'm losing my mind. And I took the phone to my son, so I was like, can you check this for me? I was like, am I seeing things, or is this? And he's like, Mom, it's an alien.
In that interview, she says then her son was like, it's an alien, call the cops. She's like, I'm not going to call the cops, they'll think I'm crazy. But this was captured on film. Now check this angle. What do you think? Is this the first time you've seen this video? Because I will tell you this,
How about the
more and more stuff is going to start showing up.
the drivers
And
in the car?
we tried to tell you. And wake up.
They're setting up the play. They're setting it up. They're about to pull this off, this great deception. They are lying. Whatever this is right here, this 31A, whatever thing this is in the space that they're talking about, they are about to manipulate everyone. And before you think, oh, well, how could they get away with that? They've been getting away with it, bro. they think, bro, how many people are privy to what really happened in 2020? Like, there's whole things going on in the courts regarding what happened in 2020, and it's all under the rug. It doesn't get any sort of mainstream publicity. No one cares about it. This right here, the Bible told us that because man did not receive a love for the truth, which is Jesus Christ and his gospel, that God gives them over to a strong delusion. The Bible says that 3 frog-like spirits come out of the mouth of the false prophet, the beast. And guys, I don't think you guys are really understanding how literal all this is. These frog-like spirits sounds like interdimensional beings, or what they would call aliens, extraterrestrials. Well, the Bible refers to them as interdimensionals. Old history refers to them as interdimensional. Guys, look, I'm not saying anything's going to happen this November. What I am saying is, get ready to be lied to. And so that when it happens, and when they are trying to spin a narrative, maybe you can pull back from your memory and have some reference of, wait, maybe this isn't what they're telling me. You need to open up your Bible and start reading it, and you need to grow in the faith of the Lord Jesus Christ. If you are not doing this, you are free game for this deception that's coming on the whole world. We can all see the play getting set up. It's getting like that. I remember in 2020, when they were talking about aliens, I was like, something about that doesn't sound right. Well, fast forward. Takes a little while, but let it marinate. You're going to see this thing happen.
I just got through a meeting with my team about all the news that's coming out today. And let me tell you, there's so much going on right now in the world that it's hard to keep up. If you saw what happened yesterday with the Chinese and Russian submarines that are patrolling the Pacific Ocean, that's just the beginning. Because today, Poland was attacked by Russian drones. They said it was an accident. Now NATO is getting involved to restrict airspace over Poland and Ukraine. What's even more concerning is UAPs are being reported over Russia and the US. There's actually a hearing going on right now trying to figure out how to handle these UFOs or UAPs. It's the last time that they tried to shoot one down over Russia. The missile deflected right off. So the whole world's getting ready. Something big's coming.
The scriptures openly declare that you are God operating in human form. 2,000 years of conventional religious interpretation have convinced billions otherwise. When Moses asked for the divine name, the answer was, I am, exactly the same consciousness that you experience right now. Not symbolically, literally. Jesus stated, before Abraham was, I am, and I and the Father are one, revealing that you and the creative power of the universe are identical. The very scriptures they read every Sunday scream the truth. The kingdom of heaven is within you. You don't need a connection with God because you are the divine consciousness itself pretending to be limited. That constant fear of failure you cultivate, it's shaping your future right now. Do you accept the feeling of scarcity as normal? It's programming your bank account. You were trained from childhood to look for God outside, to pray to something external, to ask permission to exist fully. But you need to understand the exact mechanism by which your feelings become your reality, because most will die without ever discovering that they always had the power to create any life they desired.
Scientists have just spotted with the James Webb Telescope this very large object moving through our solar system. Now, this thing is going at an incredible rate, faster than other objects that have moved through our solar system. Scientists think that this is something from an alien planet, and perhaps it is some sort of alien civilization making its way towards Earth. Now, this thing is roughly, I believe, 15 miles in width, or the size of Manhattan, and as it entered into our solar system, it turned, and it seems to be intelligent. And not only did scientists say that they think this is from an alien civilization, they said whatever it is could be hostile. Now, what's eerie about all of this is many years ago, I was downtown, and I was at this nightclub. And as I was just sitting by myself, this woman approached me. I can't recall what she looked like or anything about her, except that she started talking to me about the future and all of these things that would happen. And she even told me stuff about myself that no one else could have known. But she went on to say that one of the things that was going to happen in the future was that extraterrestrials would come here to Earth, they would reveal themselves, and they would be hostile.
Demons.
So reading this and hearing about an object predicted to come here in November, potentially hostile, it makes me wonder, could this be some sort of extraterrestrial invasion?
parasite cleanse, and if you don't see a worm, I will be shocked.
You have to like go fishing to find a worm?
It depends what you do. There's a lot of parasite cleanse you could buy in a market, like if you buy it at CVS or something. That's not thorough. I'm talking about deep, thorough parasite cleansing. 50% of the time, you'll have to see it in your stool with like a chopstick or something. The other 50% of the time, you'll be releasing what feels like you're going to the bathroom, like a number 2, but it's just mucus and worms and all different kinds of creatures when you do it thoroughly. So you can't even avoid it. You don't even have to dig in. You just see it right there, the top of the toilet.
I'm gonna assume the average person that does it's probably gonna get that experience.
It was just on Darren Olian's show yesterday. This dude is like the picture perfect health. He's 60 years old, six pack shredded, like super vibrant. His whole business is about health, and he just did the parasite cleanse, and he saw tapeworms, 3-foot roundworms. How's it feel now? Amazing.
He trembles with rage and loses power over your life. A verse that for centuries has been hidden, silenced, and only a few brave souls dared to speak. Because when you say it, you break curses, you shatter invisible chains, and even the oldest demons flee in terror. Every time you repeat it, you declare that you are no longer controlled by fear or guilt, but by the blood of Christ, and that drives him mad, because it reminds him that he has been defeated forever. So if you want to see darkness retreat, whisper this verse 3 times, and watch how the atmosphere around you changes. The verse I'm talking about is Revelation 12:11, and it says, "And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony." The verse Satan hates so much that when he hears it out loud, he trembles with rage and loses power over your life.
Have you seen this super creepy clip going around? A guy posted it and said it was the scariest moment of his life. He was driving home late and stopped at a gas station to fill up and grab some breakfast stuff. He hops back in the car, about to pull out, when a woman walks right up to his door. He looks at her and freezes. It's his wife. But here's the thing. He knows his real wife is at home. Why would she be alone at a gas station in the middle of the night? The woman outside starts tapping on the window, asking him to let her in. He's this close to unlocking the door, but decides to call his wife first, just to be sure. She picks up and says she's literally at home right now. Meanwhile, her exact look-alike is staring at him through the glass. He says it was the most terrifying moment he's ever had. For a second, he thought he might be losing it. He pulls out his phone, records the woman for proof, then starts the car and gets out of there. When he gets home, he shows the video to his wife. She's stunned. The woman in the clip looks exactly like her.
And chocolate regenerates stem cells.
Cacao, plant-based food, cacao, it's actually used to make chocolate. So dark chocolate, obviously. All chocolates that has some cacao in it, except for white chocolate. Cacao actually comes from a plant. And when it's ripe, you cut it open. It's the seed, the bean, that actually is dried. And
we have a lot of cacao in Indonesia.
Fermented and then roasted. And that turns into what is the core ingredient that goes into making chocolate. The flavanols, the polyphenols are in that bean. Studies have been done to show that the flavanols in cocoa stimulate stem cells to come out of your bone marrow, in your bloodstream, and they go out and they find wherever it needs to be repaired. If it's in your heart, they'll fix it. If it's in your liver, they'll fix it. If your skin, they'll fix it. Clinical studies have been done with high flavanol cocoa to show that in like men who are in their 60s with heart disease, they could actually have 2 cups of dark chocolate hot cocoa a day for a month. And they doubled the amount of stem cells in their bloodstream, and their circulation improved measurably. And then it's even more important and impressive is that there was a study called the Cosmos study that was completed recently that showed that eating high flavanol cocoa decreases the risk of cardiovascular death, like I said. Exactly. Except maybe by eating the same thing that you use to make chocolate. So we're not telling people to go out to have chocolate, which is a confection. There's still a lot of sugar and all kinds of other stuff in it, but it's the stuff underlying it. The core.
This to looking like that. Personally, I was shocked when I found out what happened to her. Her name is Daniela Gaviria, and she was known as the most beautiful traffic officer in Colombia. After a video filmed by a passing driver, she became famous across the country. People admired her face, her figure, and her grace. Many even went out specifically to the streets of Pereira, where she worked, just to see her. But at some point, she simply disappeared. People stopped seeing her on the roads and on social media. And when she returned sometime later, everyone was stunned. She was barely recognizable. Her skin was covered with patches, she had lost her hair, and her facial features had become harsher. Doctors diagnosed a rare autoimmune disease, scleroderma. It's a fairly serious illness that causes the skin to harden and thicken, and it can also affect internal organs. But recently, a Colombian clairvoyant told her something that makes the whole situation even creepier. At the San Camilo cemetery, he said he accidentally found signs of a dark ritual buried in the ground. And the scariest part was that among the items was a photo of Daniela. The man claims such rituals are meant to bring misfortune to another person, and a serious illness is one of the most common consequences. Based on all this, the clairvoyant said that someone most likely grew jealous of Daniela's popularity and beauty and poured all their negative energy into this ritual.
From 1800, the guy was like, what is flat Earth map? He said, the United Nations logo. They use it. They throw it in our face. The map that we use is wrong. It's different. They changed it. This is the actual map, and you can look up in encyclopedias. You can go and check one out. The library. It's a map that was. It says like it's proven. It's a map, and it's scientifically proven. It's a fact that these are the maps that they use. It's a flat Earth map, and you have to fly over Alaska to get to LA. So
From Asia?
Yeah, but Alaska is right by. It's right by us. It's not far, but by LA. It's not far. It's not more north than what we think. So like we've been lied to. So that is an emergency land. Then I started looking to other emergency landings, and I started looking to like layovers and stuff like that. And a lot of stuff didn't make sense. Why they would fly all the way up here to change, then like the flat Earth map is totally different. Then once you kind of look into the flat Earth map, and then and when you fly across the world, and you know like the layouts and what the stop and stuff, then it kind of make sense. And that's what took me over the edge, was that the emergency landings thing.
Are we going from Adele's little sister to this? What's going on, guys? I really feel like we're in the Twilight Zone right now. How are they reversing age, you guys? She looks younger here than she did a decade ago. How? Another thing that's bothering me is, where are all these celebrities channeling the 1950s? What was happening in the 1950s? I first recognized it when I saw Shania Twain 2.0, who used to look like this, by the way, acting like a Stepford wife, guys. Completely robotic. And then we had the Kate Beckinsale 2.0, who used to look like this, by the way, showing up at an event looking like a 1950s ballerina. What's happening? Jessie Murph, 1950s style. Sabrina Carpenter, 1950s style. They're all channeling the 1950s style. And if you were to put Kesha, Paris Hilton, Meghan Trainor, Sabrina Carpenter all in the same outfit, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart. I mean, with Kesha, it makes sense because she was Paris Hilton's little discovery in 2005 on The Simple Life. You don't remember. But how they got Paris Hilton to go from this to that, mind blown. What is going on in Hollywood, and how are we going from this?
It looked anything really suspicious. You might be at this concert chilling, and the big Illuminati boss might be standing right next to you out of nowhere. If I want to go this way, I can do it right now. I was with Dave Chappelle. Introduce me to somebody. The question is, took me to a room. There you go. They took me to a room. There was candles.
They can't fight the boogeyman, but if you say a name, they can fight that family.
But I was offered something, and I just wasn't with it. But when they said, good luck, young man, you're on your own. And I never went platinum since.
I'll give you 5 seconds to guess. And you guys just said before I expose one of the dozens of 2.0s in Hollywood. You guys are messing with people's eyes and the brain.
Consciousness, and when that biofield descended down upon her, afterwards, burns, marks, and subdermal scarifications, sigils, my friend.
So you're talking about a human practitioner. That she woke up and said she was abducted by aliens.
That's the mask.
So it's a psyop. The idea of the alien is a psyop for what's actually happening.
We're talking about even like incubi cases, right, of hybridization and ufology. What we're seeing now is even the babies that aren't being taken, when they are being born to the point of ritualization. Or like, even if it wasn't successful, the way they dispatched doing, they knew all of this stuff, but a lot of the pieces weren't being put together like it is today. In the phenomenon doesn't want this out, but Dr. Collier Turner had a case of hybridism, and it was when it was born deceased. It was a hybrid, but the phenomenon, and this is crazy, but when they did memory regression with this experiencer, she said, well, I didn't remember I had a birth. She's like, I just went and had surgery or something. And they found like after birth, scarification in my body and scar tissue. Realized that I was visited by an entity. The phenomenon had to place that hybrid in the forest. And Dr. Turner's like, well, that's a very strange thing. What's going on here? That too is a part of a ritual. So the phenomenon, again, almost performing rituals on one dimension, and we're seeing the result of it here. And so the experiencers are essentially a part of these rituals, and the phenomenon doesn't want it out. It's literally removing these portions of their memories from their life. When Dr. Turner's son began being abducted, he went to her and said, Mom, I realize, like you said, this has been happening to you. It's starting to happen to me. So she calls her ex-husband, his biological father. I need to have a family meeting with my abductions and helping people, but don't come up to my babies. And out of nowhere, her husband looks at her and says, yeah, don't you remember when you got pregnant? You said it wasn't us. Took you, impregnated you, and you lost the baby. You woke up. We just threw all of the covers out and started from scratch. You don't remember that? We didn't even have it. With a doctor of divinity. We're talking. I said, okay, what was your thesis on? She goes, evil spirits. I said, okay, do you ever talk about sigils? So even the church world, in many ways, right, completely blinded to this phenomenon.
Oh, yeah.
The depth of this darkness, it would be almost unbearable to some. How did you get in contact with my work? Like, what about it did you connect with? And she said, it was a sigil. I said, okay, what happened? She goes, I signed an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, with a hip-hop artist. And she goes, out of nowhere, I get this phone call from a friend, and next thing I know, I'm at this hotel, and I go into this banquet room, and here comes this artist. And she's like, you know, he goes, I had to perform these rituals in order to get my music and my songs. And he's like, and at first, he's like, it was just a ritual. I didn't think anything of it, whatever, I'll sign the check. He's like, the next thing I know, some things started manifesting to me and through me. He goes, and by the way, here's huge. By the way, what are these on my back? Pulls his shirt off, and there's sigils over his back.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with. And it's infiltrated in the entertainment, it's infiltrated, I mean, virtually everything. Somebody's got to make a stand.
Yeah.
Not that we haven't already done that, but we have to do it with the data. It's one thing to believe it. It's another thing to say, listen, it's being corroborated by people who don't even believe in this stuff. And they got here, again, like the scientists in the 70s. They got here by virtue of the scientific method. Of course, I could pull out T. Whitten Davies' books on demonology of the ancient Near East and say, well, yeah, it seems like they're inducing people in trances. It's another thing for them to say, hey, no, man, we put a brainwave monitoring unit, and we captured the theta brainwave activity. Yeah, they're absolutely doing that to people. That's what gets me so passionate, because I've been a lifelong experiencer, and it's no longer a thing of our imagination. It's not just a belief. This is actually happening. We have to answer for that. But my point to you was, yeah, so the phenomenon will create simulants to appear a part of our reality, but it's not. And so it's doing that also not just with cryptids and ghosts, but even some of the, quote, demons we're witnessing in the field aren't even biblical at all. They're just, again, right, creations and constructs where the phenomenon can masquerade as horns and hooves until you engage it.
This is crazy tech.